Hello, and welcome back to Talkin Tigers. This is episode 5, and it's War Eagle Wednesday. Right there, I had another. That was just me being dumb. I thought my microphone was on. I'll figure that out eventually. But yeah, good morning. It's a good day, and it's War Eagle Wednesday. So for War Eagle Wednesday, normally what I would do is, I would go a little bit more in depth about some of the recent my concerns or recent problems with the program. But the entirety of this week, these first 3 days this week, I just don't have a whole lot of time because I do have a job outside of this. So I changed some things around, and today's going to be a shorter episode. And for tomorrow is going to be Thoughtful Thursday, and I will be having an in-depth episode about some of my concerns, some plot points around a couple of the programs. But yeah, let's get started. Hope everybody's having a great day, and let's talk some Tigers. So real quick, I actually wanted to for War Eagle Wednesday to shout out three accounts on X, three of my closer friends, and on this platform. And I just wanted to shout out first of all YBN at Wanna World. That's WEWNNAWORLD. Tigers on a Roll at Tigers on a Roll, all lowercase, and then Chris H at Turd Ferguson for AU. They have been, all of these people have helped me in a lot of ways. YBN, he's been very nice to me. He's given me some pointers, given me some advice on how to, traverse this whole platform, traverse this app. And Chris, he has been there since the TFL days, since before the TFL days. And I have nothing but respect for him. And then Tigers on a Roll, he is actually what really helped me. I'd been wanting to start the show for a while, but he really helped me get it into motion, and I'm really thankful for him. And yeah, I just want to shout them out and War Eagle to them. So let's talk some Tigers. So I wanted to start today by discussing my updated thoughts on our all around on our basketball roster. Now, this isn't my complete thoughts because I was going to save something like that for Thoughtful Thursday. Well, I still wanted to, talk about some things that I didn't talk about yesterday with the whole basketball scene. So, first of all, this year's lineup is huge. The overall size of this lineup is huge, and it's not like last year. Our team was more like, most of your rebounding was come from Philip Jovic. I finally remembered his name, and Keyshawn Murphy. And then, you had some rebounds come in for, Keyshawn Hall. And then, really, those were your bigger guys. And the fact that your starting small forward was one of your bigger guys, that's not a very good thing to have. Well, this year's lineup is huge. You have like 7'1" Narcisse and Ngoy. You have 6'11", 7 foot Bucky Oboye. You have Thomas Dowd. He's like 6'8". Then you have Adam Olson, he's pretty tall, and you just have and then your small forward this year is 6'6", and Montas. And so, you have a much larger lineup than you did last year. Well, previously I have said that in this lineup I wanted Thomas Dowd as our starting power forward, which I do. He plays very hard. He does what's necessary to win. He is a tough player. Auburn fans are going to love that about him. I stand on that. However, I have heard some word and I've done some research. Bucky Oboye could be coming in as a backup 4 and 5. He's tall, he's lanky, and apparently in practice, apparently from what I've heard, he's been hitting a lot of threes. He's been able to come off the dribble a little bit more, maybe even a couple step back threes. He'll hit a little bit. Now, hearing this, you wouldn't. I mean, it's kind of a surprise, but when you think about it, it's great. Because imagine if you have a lineup, and if he is good enough to start Bucky Oboye, imagine a lineup of Tahad Pettiford and Kevin Overton, one of the best front court or best guard situations in college basketball. And then you go to your small forward, who is just a lights out shooter, who's an all around playmaker. He can do it all in Montas. And then you have one of the tallest, big man duos in the league, both at least 7 foot, something like that. That is huge. That is a huge upgrade. And when it comes to some of these players like Bucky Oboya, he's a junior. Tahad Pettiford, I doubt Tahad stays another year, and I doubt Kevin Overton can stay. Wait, hold up. Can Kevin Overton stay another year? He's a junior. Kevin Overton's a junior. So really, the only player you can't return from this starting lineup is Narcisse, and that's not even his fault. That's the Clippers' fault. No, but good for him. He deserves it, and let's hope we can give him a good reason to stay drafted, stay on that team. Now, anyway, I would like to look out to see for that bigger lineup, but I still have confidence in Thomas Dowd. Now, another thing to look out on for this Auburn basketball squad this year is our guard depth. Last year we didn't have a whole lot of quality guard depth, and I like your backup point guard and shooting guard was a toss up between Blake Mushalik and Caden Magwood too. Well, first of all, Caden Magwood was a true freshman. He was completely inexperienced, and you saw flashes of pretty good, but he wasn't quality to really be playing yet. Now, your other guard was Blake Mushalik, someone who, he could play decent defense, but there were a lot of people that weren't happy to, I guess have the Blake Mushalik agenda be pushed on them, but you know what I mean. He's good. He's a good ball player. He's still on the team. He's an Auburn lifer. Nothing but respect to him, and he can still have a good role in this team as a defensive player. Now, this year, we bring in George Kimball III. He's a combo guard from Vanderbilt. He's not going to start, but he could get starter level minutes. He can sub in not just for Tahad, but also for Kevin Overton, and that gives him a lot of versatility. Because let's say in the middle of a game, Kevin KO's having a bad game, you put in Kimball, he knocks down a couple threes, gets the team going, and you start a run. Or Tahad's tired, so you put Kimball in at the 1, or you can put Kimball in at the 2 and move KO to the 1. That's the versatility that George Kimball III has. And last year, whenever we needed to give Tahad or KO a break, you definitely saw a drop-off in the quality of basketball at that point. With this, you're not going to drop off a whole lot at all, So that's a huge upside to George Kimball because he's a combo guard. There's huge upside to George Kimball. And he's probably one of the biggest gets in this, portal cycle that's not a starter. So that's something to look forward to. That's something that I'm not seeing a whole lot of people talk about. And then with that, you have, I want to go back to Thomas Dowd for a second. I do. And I know I've talked a lot about him, but I'm really excited about him. Obviously you're excited about Tahad, you're excited about Montas, you're excited about KO, and you're excited about Narcisse. But at starting 4 position, Thomas Dowd, he's one of the best. He's one of the best players in a conference, and he's joining your team to be developed. He was one of the best players in the Sun Belt Conference last year. He averaged the most rebounds. He won the MVP of the tournament. And you can most of the time only do that if you win the Sun Belt Championship, which he did. Now, he did have a bad game in their March Madness game, and they ended up losing, but that's besides the point right now. We can if that's something that needs to be speculated on, we can speculate it on later. However, he's plays hard. He makes winning plays. He's not going to be, looking for, the flashiest things every time. He's not going to be like he's selfless. He wants to win above all else. And that is a player that that's the kind of thing that you would see under a Bruce Pearl team, and to see it under Steven, that is good signs of what's to come. That's a good sign of the kind of culture that you're trying to build in your team. And I have nothing but confidence for Steven Pearl this year. Now, moving to football, I don't know if any of you have heard, but there's been a little potential Golesh slander, and Brian Hart, there was a Brian Hartline quote in an interview with Pete Nakos of On 3. Pete Nakos, he does great stuff. And he said, there was some success here the past couple of years. Nowhere near it should be. The expectation should be to win. The floor should be a constant chase to win the American Conference Championship. Now, reminder, since Alex Golesh became Auburn's coach, the USF fan base has done nothing but trash our program. Talking like he isn't the reason that Alex Golesh wasn't the reason that USF was even good. They had 4 wins in 3 years before Alex Golesh got there. And now they bring in a guy who has no head coaching experience. He was an offensive coordinator for 1 year, and then he got demoted to co-offensive coordinator for Ohio State. He has, he was originally a student, a graduate assistant. Then he moved to passing game specialist or passing game coordinator, and then he worked his way up, and then he got demoted. And now his first time coaching, he hasn't even coached in high school. His first time coaching, he puts out something like this. Not the greatest move in my opinion. Now, could this be Alex Golesh slander? Yes, it could be. Is it kind of a drag on him? I mean, absolutely. I mean, Hartline is, like I just said, he's talking like he has any other coaching experience other than being a co-offensive coordinator / offensive coordinator for Ohio State. And, Alex Golesh is not someone who needs more motivation, because he's already motivated enough. He's already motivated enough. But we certainly welcome more motivation. And just to remind you, Alex Golesh is the second winningest coach in USF history. Right behind and their first ever head coach, who was there for 15 years. Something to chew on right there. Potential Alex Golesh slander. And speaking of Golesh, I wanted to touch on something that I heard on a podcast recently. I don't remember which one it was, but I did remember hearing this question. Would a loss against Florida hurt John Cohen or Alex Golesh more? That's a pretty good question, because that's your coaching battle. Like we've discussed, that's your battle between the coach that turned you down versus the coach that you got 3 hours later. But then for Cohen, that's it's on the opposite side of that same coin. It's like you just lost to the coach that you couldn't get. With football coaches and with the Steven Pearl hire, John Cohen hasn't gotten the best reputation lately. And people are even giving him crap for Butch Thompson. He didn't hire Butch. He didn't hire a baseball coach. He did not hire Butch. He has nothing to do with that. If anything, you should praise him for. You should praise John Cohen for the stuff he did with the Super Regional and the Regional Championship. The price of food and drinks and all that. That's good stuff to see. He was doing a great job with that. But back to football. You didn't really see, with the coaching hires recently that he was a part of, that's kind of giving him a shaky. It's given him a lot less wiggle room, and then people aren't happy about Steven Pearl, which in your first year you win 22 games in an NIT championship. Yes, it's not up to the standard of Auburn basketball, but I'm sorry to tell you, the standard of Auburn basketball, we just lost one of the greatest coaches when it comes to rebuilding a team in college basketball history. When it comes to rebuilding a team, Bruce Pearl has been is you can record him as one of the best. And then yes, it's his son, but he's out. I keep saying Alex Golesh because I keep talking about football. But Stephen Pearl has what it takes to do what he needs to do, and I fully support that hire. I love Stephen Pearl, and I just think they're giving him and they're giving John Cohen a lot more crap than they should be. Now, back to football. Was Hugh Freeze a terrible hire? Absolutely. Absolutely terrible hire. Are there other things that John Cohen has done that aren't the best? Yes. But you shouldn't be giving him crap for things that that aren't really that bad like basketball. Now back to the question. Would this be worse? Would a loss against Florida be worse for Alex Golesh or John Cohen? I think immediately it's John Cohen. Because, if you're the football coach and you're kind of sitting pretty when your first year, you're pretty protected as long as you don't just drop the ball, But at that point, if you lose take it like this: if you're Alex Golesh and you lose your first game, it's like, we lost that game, hate to lose it, but that's just going to fuel your coaching staff, fuel your players for the next weeks. And then you go find another game that you were supposed to lose and win it. Whereas if you're John Cohen, this coach that I hired specifically because I didn't get this first coach, lost. Not in the best situation there, so I think it's worse for John Cohen. But with that being said, I'd like to take a quick moment to thank my sponsor, and appreciate Barner Supply. Barner Supply has been a sponsor for me ever since my TFL days, and he's done nothing but be kind to me. He has been awesome to me, and I'm talking about the guy, not the hat. I'm talking about the guy who runs the company, and he makes great stuff. And especially with hats, my biggest problem with hats, like this hurts, but it matched the jersey. Wearing hats with headphones hurts my head a lot. And one thing about this hat is it is on the last two notches, and that hurts. Because normally I keep it on the last one, but I wanted to actually for my hat to stay on today, so I put it on the last two. And with someone with a big head like myself, the biggest problem that I have with hats is how long they last, how long I get to own them, because more often than not, they don't fit after a few months, or a year or so. Because in my opinion, hats are supposed to, last you a while. Now, if a hat lasts a year, that's good. But this hat, I see this hat lasting me several years because I'm only on the third notch, like this. They're durable. If I'm working outside, they have a mesh back. They're very, very stable. That's not coming off your head anytime soon. And it's easily adjustable, and the quality is great. Your label is not going to fall off like I've seen some hats that, especially with smaller companies, they don't. The hats that they make, their products are falling off, their product labels are falling off, and that's just not going to happen with your Barner Supply Co. hat. Go to barnsupply.com to pick up all your barning needs, and make sure to tell them that I sent you. And with that being said, we're going to go ahead and wrap up this shorter stream today. I don't have a lot of time, but I want to say thank you for supporting me. For me, if I look at these YouTube views and I'm getting like 30 to 50 views, that's cool. That means I reached more people than to fill a room. And I really love doing this, and I'm excited for tomorrow because I go into work later, so that means I can do a longer episode. This has been War Eagle Wednesday on the Talkin Tigers podcast with Auburn TFC. Y'all have a great day. God bless, and War Damn TFC.